Hi everybody, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Life has changed for all of us so dramatically in almost 2 years now, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how the pandemic and things that we've all been through together have changed our personalities to a point that we've now got some rebuilding to do. And I talk to women in our community all the time. We have our Patreon supporter group exclusive videos where I've gotten to really talk to women, in a closer way, and I can see the big changes. It's exciting in some ways because I think it's given us an opportunity to, go within, to spend time alone, to examine our priorities and come out, really feeling positive about the future. And I think that's generally been the trend. But I think at the other side, that if you are, an introverted person to start with, you've probably found yourself going further, deeper within. And if you're an extroverted person, and I use these terms, just like in a casual way right now, we will talk about it in more detail. But, those people are struggling now, I think, with, how to fulfill that extrovert side, that wants to go out and be with people and entertain and go out into the world. So one of our bloggers, Linda Ward, wrote this article, and she talks about it from her own perspective, having been in a corporate world, a job which ended with COVID, and she then had to sort of rebuild her life. But she said that the one word that describes how she survived is an R word, and that's resilient. And we are, as human beings, I think, quite resilient. We know how to bounce back. We have a survival mechanism, and I know when March 2019, was it? I don't even know anymore. Time is just like completely stopped. But when COVID hit, we all became very resourceful. We learned how to cook and knit and sew and, make the best of situations and do without and be creative. I mean, we did so many things. We after the shock of it all and kind of the uncertainty of what was happening, we took an active role in staying healthy and keeping our nutrition and getting our immune system strong. And we know how to survive, especially older women. Now, I'm not categorizing that younger people were not able to cope as well. But I really felt through talking to women in our 60 and Me community that we were there to survive. We were going to make it through this. When the vaccines became available, we were obviously given first opportunity, which was great. And as many people took advantage of that and, just kept healthy. I mean, took your vitamins, took your medicines, and just watched for signs that you needed to compensate in some way. But we read books, we learned Zoom, we became experts at Zoom. Not that that's a skill that many people probably wanted to have, but we went online and tried to fill the gaps. We had that kind of human need to be social and to mix with other people, and we did that virtually. That was our virtual reality. So I guess the question then goes back to being an extrovert or an introvert. Now, most of you understand what those categories mean, but basically introvert is someone who recharges themselves alone. They like to spend time alone, and they are energized by their own company. An extrovert is someone who is charged and energized by other people. They need to be with other people in order to feel fulfilled and, just full of life and giving energy to go forward. So most people, when you ask them, are you this or that, they will say, I'm both. And you're in the middle. And that's true. I mean, most people do have those qualities. But when you push it further and say, well, choose, most of the people that I've spoken to in our community will say, the majority, not most, many will say, I'm an introvert. And what muscle has gotten really strong over the last 2 years? Our introvert muscle. We have learned so well how to be alone. We've learned how to cope. We've learned how to not need other people. And that is where we start now. The world is beginning to open up. Not everywhere, not perfectly, lots of challenges still with health visas and health passport conversations and, certain things being allowed if you are vaccinated and not if you're not. There's a political, economic, social, cultural shift that's happening. And I think most of us are pretty good at expressing our point of view on this. But what's happened is that our introverted side has become dominant. So even now, I walk down the street and, when I get into a part of town where there's a lot of people, I always put my mask on. And even though I'm used to looking at people, I'm used to looking and smiling and connecting. I do that still through my mask. Sometimes I'm smizing, but it's not the same. I find myself being more hesitant, and probably you are too. And I would say I'm an introvert. I mean, to be honest, I'm more of an introvert, although I love people. So a lot of people stop doing the things that in this new world are coming back into play. Going to church, going to social groups, going on meetups. I've just started my meetup group again, which I'm doing here in Switzerland. It's for people who love trains, and we go on train journeys. But I've had to put some conditions, like you have to have your certificate. You have to be prepared to wear your mask on the train all the time, even when, except when you're having a snack. But you have to travel first class, because that's safer right now for everybody in a group. Little things like that. But it's just a step back in. We're back in, and then our extrovert muscle has got to get stronger. Now, Linda says, she is resilient. She knows that she's been through hard times in her life. She's got lots to draw upon, lots of situations that she can say, well, I made it through that. Now I can get through this, no problem. But will we ever go back fully to a balanced personality where we're both introverted by choice, perhaps, but able to mix, wanting to get out into the world? Have we been changed so dramatically by this? Has the strange world of COVID, changed our personalities at a very, very fundamental level? What's your situation? I'd love to know if we could, in the comment section below, if you could chat about whether you think you are more introverted now than before, or whether you went inside yourself, but you now are ready to go out into the world, or whether you're nervous now about that. Are you nervous about mixing with family even? Are you, the kids are going back to school, they're more exposed to the virus there, and it's not going to be over for many, many years probably. And so it's like, what muscle have you now realized has taken over your life? Are you more of an internal introverted person, or are you longing to get out into the world and just start doing things with people? There's the quote from someone here that I wanted to read to you, because it's a David Brooks, and I think this is the positive side of all of this, which he says in his New York Times column: we are going to become hyper appreciators, savoring every small pleasure, living in 1,000 delicious moments, getting together with friends and strangers, and seeing them with new and grateful eyes. I just really love that quote, because I think it really does say, that maybe we will become more introverted and quiet, but we will become hyper appreciators. And I know for me, that's definitely happened. Has it happened for you? I mean, now when I go on a train or on a bus, or just have a coffee, just go and sit down, and we have an outdoor coffee kind of way of life here in Europe. And, just sit down with a cup of coffee and a croissant and just appreciate that I'm doing that. Knowing that 1 year ago I was in lockdown, I was in a place where I could not go outside my house. I could only go for a walk once a day. Do you remember those? Do you remember that? I mean, of course you remember that. I mean, I'm saying it as if, it's something in the distant past, but it's not. I mean, we all have gone through this, but now we're out there. And I think if we can shift from that feeling of fear, that we're fearful about going out into the world and participating again, with that appreciation that David Brooks talks about, that we're becoming hyper appreciators who see the beauty and the joy in every single thing. I know personally that I appreciate you so much more. You guys have been with me, well, we've been with each other through this 2-year period, and even in our Patreon supporters group, when we were doing Facebook live shows every day, now we do the live shows on our Patreon group. We actually have been there for each other, and I appreciate that so much, probably as much as and more than I ever have. My family, I appreciate them so much. They have been my rock. They have been by my side. I have spoken to my children more in the last 2 years than I ever did before. And we've had conversations that have gone deeper and have become more a part of me. And as an older mom, just so much more grateful than I ever had before. So for me, it's been a very positive experience. But like many of you, I'm still nervous about getting out there into the world. But I am a hyper appreciator. Are you? Are you finding yourself really liking the little things more than ever? What's an example? Leave a comment in the section below. Are you ready to push yourself out there? Or are you just holding back a bit longer? I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here, for listening to this. And if you love this channel, I would love to ask you to subscribe to it and like this video if you feel inclined, because it will enable YouTube to get out there and share it. The more women in our age group, in our community that can be part of this world that we're in together, this journey we're on together, the better. So thank you again for your support. As always, take really, really good care of yourself. Stay safe and strong and happy. We'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.